That's right, everyone. Happy Friday to you all listening and watching on our KRIM Radio Facebook page. Good morning. Chris Higgins in the studio with the Hometown Movie Guy. It's right now just the Hometown Movie Guy, Andy McKinney. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, and good morning, Payson.
And you know what? The rest of the guys, Craig and Nathan, should be joining us here in a little bit, momentarily. They have a theater full of people probably watching, a movie that we'll be talking about a little bit later, one of the new ones, I would imagine. Do you think they're probably watching?
I think they're scheduled for Twisters and Despicable Me.
Twisters and Despicable Me. Okay. Well,
both perfectly good movies.
Yes. Well, let's start with Twisters. I know my wife and I, we went to see Twisters Monday and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I just saw a friend of mine at the theater a minute ago, and he asked me about Twisters, and he said, "Well, is this a sequel?" And I said, "No, it's not a prequel, and it's not a sequel. It's more of a remake."
Yeah, and they did a really good job, I thought, with the remake. It was very entertaining. It wasn't outlandish. Like there weren't scenes where I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is just over the top. This is just really stupid."
Yeah. But there was a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
The chicken coop flies over their truck,
and then the chicken just sits on the. And there was a little bit of a jump scare, a little bit,
A little bit. Yeah. You're scared of chickens.
Hey, those little guys, they can be mean sometimes.
And the one scene, it's all too brief, but in one scene the tornado runs over some kind of a fuel depot and bursts into fire. And I've never seen a tornado of flame, and that was pretty cool. I could have watched that for 15 minutes, they wouldn't have lost my attention.
Yeah. I was talking to someone yesterday about this movie, and they said, I think it was one of the parents or a relative that had just watched the movie, and they said they had the same feeling in the movie theater, and they thought it was as good or produced the same emotion within them as Maverick Top Gun. I was like, wow, that's a compliment.
Woo-wee, yeah.
Yeah. And how can you deny if that is how it makes someone feel? I mean, that's how it makes them feel. And, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes for Twisters, 92%. So
yeah, that's hard to beat.
Yeah, when you can get up in the 90s.
Yep, absolutely. But great special effects, stuff flying around every which way, and the nice love story. So I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, and do you have how much?
Yep, 155 to build it, and to date, they have so far in the box office 156. That's million.
Okay.
155 million to build and 156 million at the box office. And I don't have anybody here that actually knows that to correct me, but I figure that on average the production company of your ticket price, you pay $2 at the ticket window, and the theater gets $1, and then the people that make the movie get $1. So.
So yeah,
that kind of dates me, doesn't it? You go to the movie for $2.
Well, and they say, what is it? You want to double to be profitable if you double the cost.
And that's not exactly true, and it's more complicated than that.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I go by.
Just a simple. That's like a basic, just a basic gauge, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one is rated PG-13, and showtimes are 12:45, 3:45, and 6:45.
And there's no, like in a disaster movie, it's a disaster, so you have the opportunity of showing all kinds of horribly mutilated, squished, and broken bodies. And they don't do that here.
No. And even I don't recall, or I don't remember even language or anything that was, offensive, really.
Yeah. But nothing stuck out.
No,
Yeah.
no, it didn't. If it was done in a way that made sense.
Yeah.
Because I guess especially, tornado, if you experience tornado, there's going to be probably
Some scary moments.
oh my goodness, yeah, or a few words might slip, But yeah, a really, really good movie. Also, still in theaters, Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly Me to the Moon, a rom-com, Scarlett Johansson and is it Tatum Channing or Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum.
Channing
Yeah,
Tatum. I never
Channing
can
Tatum.
get the order of his name right.
Uh-huh.
But it's a romantic comedy involving wrapped around the moonshots.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of moonshot business going on, and very cute. Not doing great at the box office, but it's a cute romantic comedy, PG-13 again,
Mm-hmm.
and as I recall, there's maybe a couple of chaste kisses, and
Mhm.
that's it.
No.
No graphic business.
Yeah. And this one, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, 91%.
Yeah.
So again,
They like it, they're
audience
just not
is-
going to see it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe the more flashy movies are pushing it aside.
Hmm. Well, I know we had the opportunity, Monday, my wife and I, it was like, okay, Twisters, Fly Me to the Moon. And it was a fairly easy decision for us. Twisters seemed like the movie that we would probably enjoy more. So, yeah, I could see where with the different options at the theater, maybe the Fly Me to the Moon just isn't getting, and obviously it's not getting the moviegoers that they had hoped for.
And in Twisters, the leading man was Glenn Powell,
Mhm.
and he was in a rom-com earlier this year, Anyone But You.
Oh, okay.
And it was a spectacular success.
Oh, wow, okay.
So rom-coms are still out there, but people aren't embracing this one.
Yeah, and also you can't say it's because of the cast or the main characters, the main actors, because
Yeah.
Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
they've been in big movies, big draws.
big stars, absolutely.
Yeah. So that one, again, rated PG-13 and showtimes 12:45, 3:45, and 6:45. And then Despicable Me 4.
Wonderful
Kids
movie, just
Yeah.
a wonderful movie. The thing that, for me, and for I guess a lot of people, that really make the Despicable series fun are the little minions.
Yes.
They're just the cute little wacky guys, and they are funny. And a lot of the movie was devoted to them doing their silly hijinks. They're kind of unleashing their inner minion and getting into slapstick kind of stuff that you would expect from Laurel and Hardy, that kind of stuff. But very, very funny, and they're just adorable little critters. And people, it's, by the way, this one is PG rated.
Rated PG, that's
So
right.
it's suitable for anybody that can sit still for an hour and a half or so.
And this one has been wildly successful.
Whoa, they're so glad they made this movie.
That was a good laugh. It was not maniacal, but it was, that was a good one. Yeah, what do you have?
Okay, well, and they lavished money on it. They spent $100 million to make it. And then it's brought in at the box office $603 million, and still, it is chugging right along.
Still chugging away, I know, and so that is good to see. Despicable Me 4, again, still in Sawmill Theater, and 4 showtimes on that, 12, 2:15, 4:30, and 8:45.
It's one of those movies, if you have grandkids, you can take the grandkids to the movies, and you'll be laughing at stuff.
Yeah.
They'll be laughing at stuff, but won't necessarily be laughing at the same stuff.
It's a quick 90 minutes too. It's a short one.
There you go, and welcome Craig and Nathan
Hi,
and the
hello.
rest of the movie guys. So, Despicable Me, wildly successful at the box office. Horizon, also in theaters. Not as wildly successful.
Wildly successful here.
In Payson,
Payson
but, you know, nationwide. just
Once
not
again,
the case.
Payson is ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve because it is a very solid movie, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's a wonderful movie.
And unfortunately, what's happened there is part 2 was supposed to come out August 16th,
Mhm.
and that has been bumped now. So we don't know when that second part is going to be coming out. I don't think Warner Brothers knows either. They're kind
Scurrying.
of trying to
Yeah.
figure out what they're going to do there.
From what I've read is that they're hoping, once it gets to streaming, that they get a larger audience who has actually seen the first movie. So when they release a second one, they get the sort of
Yeah.
outpouring that they wanted for the first one.
Yeah, and this was kind of one of those where you think with Kevin Costner, the success that Yellowstone has seen, wild success, so Western, but this one a different Western, where Yellowstone obviously modern day.
Yeah, this one's a little rougher.
Yeah, a little rougher.
But this one is rated R.
Rated R, and so the audience, though, score on this too. People that have seen it, like you said up here, people love it here in Payson, but nationwide or audience score, what do you think that is?
Oh, from what I understand is there's a lot of critics for some of the depictions in the film, so I would guess 67.
For the audience.
For the audience? Oh.
So what do you?
70.
67 or 74?
Okay, I was gonna say 67 too.
67.
For audience?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm gonna say 91.
70.
Oh,
So-
once again, I'm completely
so,
stumped.
yeah, that's where audience, I mean,
And there was some, like Nathan said, there was some controversy with this film on the depictions.
mhm.
The depictions, and it was a little bit rough, but Kevin Costner stands by it, and he said, the Old West was, the Old West
Yeah.
was rough.
Mhm.
And this is what happened, and this is why it happened, and I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah, yeah. So Horizon,
I will stop touching.
and it is a longer movie, over 3 hours, just over
Right
3
about
hours?
3 hours, yes, right at 3 hours.
3 hours, so 2 show times on that.
Yeah, and when I watched it, I didn't have a sense of, gee, this is a long movie.
It's
I was like,
dragging.
"Oh."
Wow.
Not at all. I was just riveted on every frame. It's immaculately filmed.
Mm.
It's just beautiful, beautiful, and has a Arizona tie-in as well. The Horizon
Mhm.
comes from the name of a frontier town that is really just a location on a map, and the pioneers are trying to get started. But the town of Horizon in the movie is down in Arizona on the San Pedro River,
Wow.
down in the south part of the state.
All right. So Horizon again at 2 show times, 12:15 and 6:15.
6:30.
6:30. Okay, 6:30. And then another movie, last movie that is still in theaters right now that we'll talk about before we get to the new ones, because we haven't gotten to the new ones yet, is Maxine. And you watched this movie,
I
didn't you, Andy?
Yeah, I did. I avoid horror movies generally. It's just not my thing. I'd rather go to a rom-com.
Yeah.
But this was, for a horror movie, this was really very exceptionally well done.
Wow, all right.
Refresh me, what's the production company?
A24. Yeah, this is A24. They do, they kind of got a reputation for this. They did Ex Machina, some of these, but also Hereditary and Midsommar, and generally everyone thinks, very well-made films.
And
Yes.
these are different in the concept of the films. If you go to the other big company, Atomic Monster, for horror movies, they're more into the jump scares and gore and stuff.
Yeah, Blumhouse, yeah.
Blumhouse.
So this one, again, as with most horror movies, just a low cost, where looking online it says anywhere from $1 million to $2 million to make
Wow.
it. And it's brought in right at 18 million, 17 point something
Very successful
globally.
film, yeah.
So just a very successful formula. And I think we talk about this
Yeah.
quite often on the program, where you have these films that cost $200 million to make, and they bring in less than $100 million. And then you have a film that's a couple $1,000,000 showing in the same theater right next to.
Yeah.
If you're putting in $200 million, well, obviously there's risk there. But, you know, as we talk about, you know, some of these other films, well, Despicable Me, where
Yeah,
you spend $200 million making it, and then it brings in $1 billion. You know,
yeah.
you're not making $10 million profit, you're making, you know,
Oh.
$100 million
Yes.
profit, and it's a huge,
And I think, is it safe to say, it was a case that you didn't see a lot of films with that 100 to $200 million budget. They were the Marvel films, you know, Avengers and some of those films, which almost, it wasn't a gamble. It was a guarantee that they were gonna make big money.
Like Fast and Furious films was around that time as well.
Yeah,
Because
but-
they had built on the franchise already.
But now you're seeing more and more films, it seems like with those big budgets, that some of them hit it and some of them don't. Where I don't recall seeing that as much in the past. Like, there were maybe some big films that didn't make it, but there weren't as many
no,
busts.
it was, well, Disney. It was mostly Disney doing these big budget films.
Yeah,
You know, the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel and everything that were, you know, that were, well, not guaranteed, of course,
Yeah.
but, you know, and some of them missed, but,
The
you know,
most-
Disney
yeah.
Marvel has made, where are we at on that, 10 billion or something, I think, that,
Insane.
you know, the Avengers films made just a crazy amount of money.
Buckets and buckets.
Yes,
And boy, those are good movies too.
and that's,
Yes.
well, that's what the new film for today is kind of trying to get that going again. We maybe a little bit of burnout with superhero movies.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, this one is not like your average superhero movie.
No, and we've had a break too. We haven't really seen a
Yeah.
superhero movie since last year. Last year or the year before even.
Yeah. Was it Ant-Man?
We did Ant-Man and Doctor Strange was in there.
Doctor
I think it was
Strange?
Ant-Man. I think
Yeah.
Ant-Man.
Because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was a pretty good film, I'd say, for the most part. But the Ant-Man one was a little bit harder to enjoy and watch.
Well, like I said, you also had that, you know, coming off the Avengers films. You know, that was the end of
Yeah.
phase 4 or phase 3 of it. That, you know, but that last Avengers, you know, the big battle with Thanos.
Mhm.
I think you had a drop off there. You know, people were a little.
Yeah, I think they could have, we ended up, they kind of had to, but I think they could have benefited from taking a little more time after Endgame before releasing the movies. Make everybody wait a year.
Well, that's what you're seeing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
We haven't had a Star Wars movie now for a couple of years, and that's what Disney is doing is you know, kind of waiting. And you look way back, you know, the first Star Wars movie was what, 76, and then you know, The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back. That second one was 7 or 8 years, 84, 83, 84.
Mhm.
So they did. You know, the Star Wars films always waited a bit. You know, you had to wait 5, 6 years for another one.
Mhm.
And that helped, I think, build that anticipation.
Yeah, but Maxine, definitely already making money.
And Maxine was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's kind of strange to say, it's a lot of fun to watch a movie about
An adult film star?
various groups of psychopaths
Yeah. Adult
Yeah.
film star.
in the
like
adult
killing-
film industry.
Yeah, killing people. But you said very well done. It was very well.
Yeah, no, it
Very
was
well shot.
yeah, it was good direction, good timing in the movie, and there were some things in there that just made you go, holy smoke,
Wow.
which is always cool when especially
You
if
see something you haven't before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen as many movies as I have, and to see something new, it just is really cool. So,
Yeah.
So if you like a horror movie, Maxine's the one to
Well,
see.
we've got another one opening
Yep.
up today
Oh yeah.
That's-
that is maybe supposed to be better than Maxine. This is
It's got a famous star.
Nicolas Cage in this one, yeah.
Yeah. And,
Long Legs.
Long Legs.
Being called the best serial kill film since Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, wow.
So there's some hype on this one. This is supposed to be really good. And yeah, Nicolas Cage, just creepy.
Mhm.
You said a great role for him.
So Long Legs has
Low
done
budget
low
movie.
budget, and it's also done great in the box office.
I
Yeah.
think it had 23 million. I think opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
I want
Yeah.
to say yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have to assume
Well-
that 50% of their budget was paying Nicolas Cage?
And then it passed the $50 million mark.
Wow.
Just
Oh.
passed the $50 million
Oh, wow.
mark domestically.
They're rolling.
And this is Neon Films. So another kind of a smaller film company that's kind of cashing in on these And again, these kind of horror films where you can keep your budget low.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you get this quick return on it.
Mhm.
And like you said, this one is there's a lot of hype on this. This is supposed to be a really, really good movie.
And what do they say about Nick Cage in this?
I said he's incredible and
Terrifying.
Terrifying. Terrifying.
I've heard people describe it as it's not like a very jump scary, or you're gonna be like shaking in your boots during the movie, but it just leaves an aura of creep on you for about 3 days.
Yes,
Yeah.
Where you're just not really sure what's around the corner.
And here's a description on this review. It says, praising Nicolas Cage and describing his performance as nightmare fuel.
Whoa.
Nightmare fuel? come on.
Oh, I got all I can handle.
Oh my goodness.
So
So
if you're into the horror film stuff and kind of the serial killer thing, this is a must see.
This is, gonna be one of
This is like I
big
said,
ones, top
widely
to
called
top
the
for
best in many, many years.
yeah. So Longlegs turned out to be more of a supernatural horror than its viral marketing and has initially led on. Although a recent gimmick attempted to lure audiences back into theaters for a rewatch by revealing that Perkins has hidden over 15 appearances of the devil in some of the scenes.
Whoa.
So,
Oh, wow.
where maybe you're focusing on something else, and
Is that Perkins? Is that Anthony Perkins'
Osgood,
son?
directed by Osgood Perkins.
Perkins, I think that's Anthony Perkins' son.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that, but I think that's his son who's
Wow.
directing that.
Wow.
And he was in Legally Blonde. He's the one. Boy, here you go. I'll show you the picture of this guy. Right here.
Okay.
Yeah, the like very nerdy friend, right there.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks like he's got a horror movie
Yeah.
like packed
Yeah.
away in his brain.
Oh
just
yeah,
waiting for it.
yeah. And let's see if it does say. But yeah, so Longlegs. This one is doing real good in the box office, and I think people are enjoying this one.
Yes. Oh, now Maxine too. 4 o'clock only now.
Gotcha. And Longlegs, rated R as well. Showtime's 12, 2:30, and 7:30 on
Yes.
Longlegs. And then
And please pay attention to the ratings. If it's PG, that's anybody that is can sit still for an hour and a half, bring them in. If it's R, just leave the little ones at home.
yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
No kids should be watching Maxine.
No,
or
no.
Longlegs, probably.
No. And then the final movie, and we've waited to talk about this one, the final movie in theaters, just coming out today, is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine, also rated R. 4 showtimes on this one, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in 3D,
3D, yes.
and 7. So yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, and we all had a chance to
check
see
it out.
this and check it out, and wow.
It's rated R. Lots of
Yes.
blood.
Lots of language.
Lots of language.
Lots of language.
Lots of
blood.
blood.
Yes.
Lots of language and blood. Language, blood, blood, and language.
No, I don't think there was any nudity in it.
No.
No, no.
Nothing like that. I will say,
No.
like, at least let's keep superhero movies away from that to a degree.
Yeah.
It's why it's like, even if there is like a 15-year-old or something, they can still come watch the movie. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. With parents' permission. of course.
Yeah, because the language, and I mean the blood, it's yeah.
But this is kind of the, Disney had a problem when, Disney bought Fox, and that brings, Fox owned the X-Men, and Disney had the Avengers, so Disney bought Fox, so they've been trying to figure out how to merge those two, universes together with
Yeah.
the X-Men and Avengers, and this is kind of that bridge
Yeah.
to get that going.
And I tell you, there are just some scenes that have stuck in my head that are just so funny, where I was sitting next to Andy and both of us would just find ourselves just laughing out loud at something. It's like you can't,
Yeah,
it's
you
just-
can't help it.
Oh, you can't help it.
Yeah.
It was funny. There were so many just parts that you're like, what did they just do?
That and it's funny because sometimes the jokes are like bombs that go off at different times for people. So you hear somebody laugh over here, and then somebody over here gets it, and then they're all laughing at it.
Yeah.
And this one has a lot of spoilers in this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were, Disney was very careful to keep things secret on this, that they didn't want getting out.
Yeah.
Different characters that show up.
Yeah.
And they did a good job. I tried not to watch any trailers
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. to
Well,
watch.
and in the trailers, yeah, I didn't, because I did watch a trailer, and it didn't reveal
Some of the big
anything.
stuff, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it was,
Well, that's a big part of the film, is kind of bringing these things together, and, you know, it's Deadpool, so,
Yeah.
so everything's kind of tongue-in-cheek, and, you know, the fourth wall, you know,
Mhm.
where he, you know, looks at the camera and actually talks to the audience, it's kind
Mhm.
of, it's kind of
Good
unique.
times.
Yeah, it's very unique.
and a friend of mine that went to see it, I think yesterday, because I think they had it, you know, released it yesterday in the Valley, so we went to see it, but he, you know, commented, for people that are going to watch it, if you're able to, watch Loki, you know, so the 1 and 2.
Yes, it is
before,
helpful.
It is helpful to just have a little bit of.
A little bit of understanding
Yeah.
of the time variance authority who he's
Yeah.
coming up against.
Yeah, yeah, but
You didn't do that at all, huh?
You didn't-
And it didn't
You know what,
affect you at all, did it?
Have you seen those at all? The
No, you know,
Okay.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Disney Plus and their streaming thing they're doing with, they're doing it with Star Wars too, with the Mandalorian and all these things,
Yeah,
and,
right.
Yeah.
they're kind of, so maybe I shouldn't say this is a.
They're making great content.
I don't like the idea that you have to have Disney Plus
Yeah.
and pay them a subscription price to watch these things in order to know what's going on with the movie. And it's
yeah.
not, you don't have to watch
Yeah,
it. You don't have to
you
watch
can
it.
pick up really fast.
It's gonna give you
It's
some
just-
insight.
It just helps. It just makes it a
Yeah.
little bit more
I mean,
interesting.
I was not lost at all in, you know, watching Deadpool yesterday, and I've not seen any of the Disney Plus stuff, so.
There you go.
It might give you a little more insight into some of the things, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
no,
necessarily.
not in any way that really.
No, it
Changes the
takes
way-
away from the
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
or makes it to where, yeah, you're confused or wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and there's, to be fair, a lot of the movie is, the part that isn't jokes is Deadpool and Wolverine chopping people to ribbons in colorful and interesting ways.
I know that the fan base has wanted that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see this.
Put
and
these two together.
Well, and they give it to you.
Yeah,
So-
and you know what? I was amazed at and impressed is a better word. Impressed at how the movie went from just, you know, ridiculous comedy, you know, and things that were being said and what was being done to parts that were, I don't want to say touching, but
It built
you know,
the tone
but-
with the climax.
yeah, but you could, you know, you had these serious parts that were serious. You weren't like, okay, whatever, this is cheesy, this is corny. But there were parts that were serious that you're like drawn into it, like, whoa, you know, okay, this is legitimate. And then the next thing, you know, Deadpool would say something and you're back to, you know, just the
Well, you got,
comedy.
Deadpool and Wolverine kind of have a tragic background.
Yes.
You know, in a lot of ways, they've gone through some, you know,
Hard stuff.
terrible things, yeah, they've got some
Mhm.
things going on in their life, you know, being superheroes isn't all fun and games.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so Deadpool and Wolverine, that should be
It's an amazing movie.
big,
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the numbers yet from yesterday, you know, they do those advanced screenings, and I don't know what the Thursday sales were yet.
I couldn't get those
But,
either.
you know, this is another R-rated film, and I think last week we were talking about, you know, the biggest R-rated films. And this
Yes.
this one will certainly be a top 10
Hopefully.
R-rated film.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both the other Deadpools right up in there.
Deadpool, yeah,
Yeah,
Deadpool,
and the Logan movie as well.
yeah, Logan, oh yeah, Logan, yeah, the other,
Mhm.
the last Wolverine film,
Yeah.
So,
that was terribly tragic, really, that one was,
yeah, well, he died.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or did.
so it's.
Well, that's a wonderful thing about the movies, you know, is that no matter how dead you are, the movies can always bring you back.
Yeah.
Um,
Superpowers.
And we saw, you know, the opening scene in Deadpool and Wolverine is a pretty graphic depiction of a dead guy.
Yeah, so this one that said Deadpool and Wolverine settling in at a robust 38.5 million on the preview, which is
Wow.
the best R-rated preview ever seen at the domestic box office and the 8th highest preview of all time.
So we're gonna get $100 million.
Weekend
Opening
Wow.
weekend.
That's
So
It's not even a holiday.
biggest movie of the year,
Yeah.
hopefully. What does it have to be?
Yeah.
2.05 billion for Inside Out?
1.16, I think.
1.16 billion.
Billion.
from-
So it
So that's
says-
quite a mark to shoot for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it said it's just under Avengers Infinity Wars, which that preview was 39 million.
Oh, wow.
Right
Yeah,
there,
so,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that rallied all the way to 257.6 million.
Whoa.
You know, and then it's above Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which the preview was 36 million for that, the
Wow,
preview day.
nice.
So, yeah, so 38.5, that's...
It is so good. It is. I've been growing up with a lot of these like Fox property superhero films, and then the Marvel films, and it's just great. And it honestly feels just as much as a culmination as Endgame felt like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's the other one too, was you're talking about the Disney and Fox is, you know, throughout the whole movie, you know, Deadpool is just making fun of Fox and Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
both.
yeah. Like saying directly to
Yes.
Wolverine, like, "Oh, wouldn't a big bag from Disney like make you want to come
But-
back
but
and do
yeah,
this?"
a bunch of money, yeah,
Yeah.
a bunch of money. And
Just
yeah.
constant, and
Yes.
I love that it's non-discriminate too. It's everywhere, which is how it should be.
Well, yeah, it is
Yeah,
good. It's very
it's
entertaining.
really funny. There are, there's a huge cast, by the way. If you
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
know
my
that. There's
goodness.
a huge cast of
Don't look at the cast.
cameos. And most of them have some kind of a very sharp quip to make.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, real good. And again, showtimes on that are
1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 5 o'clock in 3D.
There you go.
And that one was too, if you guys noticed that, you know, when you're watching the 2D version, you can see different parts of the film that you can see were made for 3D.
Yeah.
You know, if there's, you know, someone's throwing a sword and you can tell in 3D that thing's gonna be coming out at you. So, I think 3D will be pretty entertaining too.
Mhm.
I hate to bring this up because the film looked amazing, but there was one, like, maybe it was on screen for 30 seconds where I was like, ooh, it's a little bit too noticeable that those are two CGI characters right there. Do you guys know which part I was talking about?
Oh,
No, it was, the two main characters were next to each other near the end of the movie. They had just passed a bus, and one character had a mask on. You know what I'm talking about? Just for a split moment, it was like, oh, whoa, wait, hold on, I see it there for a minute there.
Well, the
But it looked
CGI has really come a long ways.
Yeah.
And kind of looking to the future, way in the future, Christmas time, Disney again, Mufasa. It's a kind of a prequel to The Lion King.
Oh, wow.
It looks unbelievable.
Wow.
The graphics on this thing, I mean, this is a cartoon and it looks almost real. As I was just telling these guys earlier, there's a scene where the lion's standing on the mountain and he looks up and a raindrop comes out of the sky and you see the lion's face reflected in the raindrop as it's falling.
Wow.
That's
It's just amazing. This
Wow.
film, it's just a short trailer they have now, kind of an advanced trailer, but just looks unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to that one for Christmas.
Okay, well, there you
exciting.
go. Well, all right, well, that is it for the hometown movie guys for today, and hope you guys enjoy the movies this weekend. Back to the music, Jerry Rafferty, Euless Lewis in the news, Huey Lewis in the news, Tears for Fears, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
Yeah. I would recommend that to mark his tragic passing last month, that you play